To quote Alan Watts, "You are not a tool, a function, or an endless battery of support for other people's comfort." Life isn't about usefulness to others, it's about authenticity. Your identity isn't fixed. It's a journey you are constantly navigating. Most people remain locked in societal programming, beneath all the layers of what others want you to be. Your authentic self is waiting. Your human algorithm, your unique way of processing life, determines everything. What is authentic identity? Your identity is an amalgamation of experiences, beliefs, and choices. It's the operating system through which you interact with the world. Most operating systems aren't self-designed, but programmed by external forces. And these are your family expectations, cultural norms, educational programming, and societal pressures. From childhood, we are products of our environment. We absorb cultural narratives and prescribed paths without questioning. To quote Alan Watts again, "Who told you that love must be earned by service, that your worth must be measured by your sacrifice?" We are set on default trajectories, trains hurling down predetermined tracks. If we don't learn to conduct our own journeys, we live someone else's version of our lives. The human algorithm platform I've been building started with this realization. I was following a predetermined path without questioning why. My algorithm was someone else's creation, not my own. The first step to recoding yourself is recognizing the default programming. The fate of a meaningful life is not guaranteed. Every person is fighting to survive in your own way. Humans have a unique capacity. We can make conscious choices rather than follow instinct. Yet, the majority still live unconsciously, stressed, robotic, mindless, following without questioning. If 95% of people are just going through the motions, that's a lot of people. Society is held up by conscious individuals, those who build their own algorithms. They carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. They create spaces where others can be themselves. You are either conscious or unconscious, a non-playing character or a main character, or running a default algorithm, or even building your own. Every choice shapes your future and your contribution. That's why we need to talk about reclaiming your true self through your human algorithm. Life contains two essential games for self-actualization. Number one is the external game, how you express yourself in the world. Number two is the internal game, your philosophical foundation. The external game includes how you present yourself, the goals you pursue, the impact you have on others. The internal game includes your values and beliefs, your understanding of yourself, and your acceptance of your truth. This is the paradox. The further you push into expressing your true self, the deeper you must dig inward. Building a human algorithm requires both external expression and internal understanding. My journey with human algorithms started here, externally creating content and systems, internally questioning what makes me authentic, recognizing the disconnection between my work and my truth. As you develop yourself, you increase your level of self-awareness. Each challenge on the path to authenticity helps you see the game from a higher perspective. When I first questioned gender norms, I had no roadmap. I just knew something felt misaligned. As I solved each problem, finding courage to wear what felt right, navigating public spaces, responding to stares and comments, I began to see the bigger picture. Internal struggle is required to reach the next level of awareness. When you acquire necessary courage or knowledge, you reach a new perspective. To quote Alan Watts, Your worth is not found in your usefulness to others, but in your simple, sacred existence. I struggled with my identity for years. I tried to fit into traditional expectations. I endured mental turmoil of hiding, fear of rejection, anxiety of being seen. After pushing through discomfort, understanding hits all at once. Suddenly, I saw gender fluidity wasn't something to fix but to embrace. I saw gender as a social construct to navigate rather than a prison. This became a core component of my human algorithm: authenticity over conformity. Pursuing authentic expression requires chipping away at who you thought you were supposed to be, seeing reality for what it is, shedding beliefs that don't serve your true self. You are removing layers of conditioning to see your genuine desires. Authenticity doesn't come instantly. You must wrestle with reality. Discomfort is a transformation in progress. Building human algorithm taught me to embrace the discomfort of creating something new, the vulnerability of sharing personal stories, the challenge of living against the norm. Life includes suffering because transformation requires facing resistance. We are not eliminating discomfort. We are learning to flow with it. The path of the authentic self is how you escape conformity. Fall in love with the challenge that authenticity presents. Balance between acceptance and growth. To reveal who you truly are, balance acceptance and growth. Growth is pushing outward, acceptance is peace inward. Certain aspirations require you first to know and accept who you are. My gender fluidity exemplifies this balance. Some days he feels right, other days they feels aligned. Sometimes being called she doesn't feel out of place. There is no fixed destination, just ongoing exploration. Start somewhere. Pick something that feels true and do it. Stop worrying about what could go wrong. Making the right choice forever. Things will go wrong. That's part of the process. Human algorithm started as a small idea, documenting my approach to life. It evolved as I embraced each iteration without expecting perfection. Each version is built on the previous one, just as identity evolves. Raising a child while navigating gender identity publicly unlocked a new level of parenting. Modeling authentic living shows my daughter that differences should be celebrated. People get stuck believing they need everything figured out before taking the first step. But you will never know unless you start doing. If you are pursuing authentic expression, you can't neglect inner work. Otherwise, you will end up spiritually hollow, an authentic exterior without internal foundation. Human algorithm reflects this balance. External systems and content, internal philosophy and values, practical tools and spiritual foundation. Your concept of self is an intellectual and emotional structure built over time. Think of it as a house, not yet a home. When remodeling a house, you don't demolish the entire foundation. You don't tear everything down all at once. You make small, calculated adjustments. Most of you want to start with the deepest aspects: core identity, purpose, spiritual center. But you haven't done even simple self-acceptance work, like acknowledging preferences, expressing your authentic style, acquiring courage to be seen. You are in for a difficult time. Building human algorithm followed this principle. I started with simple systems for daily life, gradually integrated deeper philosophical elements. Now, I encompass both practical tools and spiritual insights. People trying to reach enlightenment without doing the practical authenticity work often do it for superficial reasons. They use spirituality as a status symbol to avoid challenging work. When skills and courage are fully engaged in authentic living, attention becomes completely absorbed. There's no energy left for worry. and focus remains on the relevant moment. This is maximum enjoyment and meaning. Start with something small but significant. Begin with superficial aspects of authentic expression. How you dress, speaking truth in safe spaces, taking one step into the unknown. This gives you a smaller purpose to actualize. People try to solve life's deepest purpose without breaking through lesser purposes first. When life's purpose isn't clear, start with something immediate. For me, it began with small expressions of gender fluidity, wearing a skirt at home, then around trusted friends, eventually in public. Each step was terrifying but necessary. Human algorithms started similarly. First, I documented personal systems. Then I shared that with close friends, eventually creating public content. Each iteration built confidence for the next step. You can't achieve authentic living without education and community. Immerse your mind in information that helps understand your authentic self. Find people who share your journey or support your expression. You can create a chosen family if your biological one doesn't understand you. My wife's unwavering acceptance was crucial. When I first started wearing skirts, before identifying as gender fluid, her support provided necessary foundation. When building human algorithm, it required researching systems thinking, studying philosophy and psychology, finding mentors and supporters, creating a community of like-minded people, and following social media accounts providing specific insights. When created intentionally, social media becomes a powerful tool for finding community, gaining education, and connecting with your people. After finding supportive voices, you can dive deeper. Read books about similar paths, join relevant communities, study underlying principles. When authenticity becomes a priority, situations are perceived with intention, information becomes relevant and applicable, and mindless distraction naturally ends. If you struggle to act authentically, you lack compelling reasons. As you experience life authentically, collect reasons that sustain your journey. I used to hide my gender expression. Over time, I developed a philosophy around authenticity. Living true to myself creates space for my daughter. Because children learn by watching, not just hearing. Authenticity is strength, not weakness. Human algorithm evolved into my personal philosophy, system for external effectiveness, meaning-making for internal alignment, integration of practical and philosophical elements. When faced with discomfort or criticism, like using bathrooms, receiving stares for wearing a skirt, my philosophy provides a foundation to continue. I know why I choose authenticity over comfort. To quote Alan Watts, you become so familiar with being needed that you start to confuse it with being loved. This confusion kept me playing roles that weren't authentic. I had to learn the difference between being valued for my usefulness versus being loved for my essence. As you develop reasons behind choices, you cultivate a personal philosophy. This extends beyond specific actions, encompasses the entire approach to life, and becomes your North Star in difficult moments. Step number 4. Share your journey to help others. Sharing authentic journey creates meaningful connections. Social media isn't just promotion, it's a public forum. Share your experiences to help others. Create visibility and reassurance. When I share stories about navigating public spaces as a gender-fluid parent, I'm not doing it for attention. I'm creating visibility for others. My vulnerability becomes someone else's courage. Human algorithm became shareable because I documented my journey. I solved personal challenges systematically. Solutions could help others with similar struggles. By solving authenticity challenges, You discover solutions that help others. Your marketing becomes your intrinsic philosophy, and these are the reasons you are connected for living authentically, your unique approach to life challenges. I created resources about navigating authentic expression, building systems for personal growth, integrating identity and productivity. The landing page features my reasons and journey and changes lives by sharing authentic experiences, which is the most meaningful business model. Human Algorithm combines personal systems that work for me, philosophical insights from my journey, and practical tools anyone can apply. And ultimately, there is a community where authenticity is celebrated. There isn't really anything else that matters. Yes, there are global challenges, technological frontiers, and societal problems. But people pursue those from passion, not obligation. We need people who are aware, authentic, and awake. Life isn't about being useful to everyone else at your true self expense. And to quote Alan Watts again, being alive is not a job. It's not a condition that demands productivity in order to be validated. It's about reclaiming courage to be authentic in a world that rewards conformity. Your authentic self determines your life's outcome. Human Algorithm is simply a framework for this journey, and your code for living. If you are interested in exploring authenticity further, check the links in the description below. Remember, most people won't change because the familiar feels safer than the unknown. But you are not most people. You are here considering the path of authenticity. That makes all the difference.